Kal Halayim Layahal Bashem Yahushai Bashem Racha Kodash. This is Revelation 16 and 1. And I was looking around some words, searching for some words, just to see if I could find a topic. And there's many topics out there. And all I had to do was type in the word. I think I forgot what the word was. But, we got to this one right here, because it was about I started looking for a different word, and then this came up, and then I started thinking about the RFID. So that's how the Spirit works with me. So this is Revelation 16 and 1. Then I heard a loud voice from the temple saying to the 7 angels, "Go pour out on the earth the 7 bowls of Yahweh's wrath." So it's going to be a lot of wrath. And we'll get into his wrath in a different and more in depth in a different tomorrow, maybe, perhaps, Lord willing. But today we're going to talk about the RFID chip. So you're going to make Yahweh mad, and he's going to pour out on the earth his wrath if you take the RFID chip. Now you might be saying, what does the RFID chip have to do with with the mark of the beast or making Yahweh mad? Good question. Let's find out. So in verse 2 it says, "So the first angel went and poured out his bowl on the earth, and loathsome malignant sores broke out on those who had the mark of the beast and worshipped its image." Now let's read some more of it. So it's telling you whoever took the mark of the beast. So now I should have done that here. Alright, so now we'll go back over here to this one, because this page had a little bit of precepts on it. See the cross reference? So now I'm going to use it. See, this is why these are good tools. Good tools, man, because there's nothing wrong with searching out more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, especially if you're calling yourself a man of the Lord and going out to the streets and teaching like I do. It sounded bad, but I gotta step my game up. So this is Psalm 79 and 6. "Pour out your wrath on the nations that do not acknowledge you, on the kingdoms that refuse to call on your name." So right off the bat, it tells you that the nations that do not acknowledge Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, are most likely going to take the mark of the beast, because they refuse to call on his name. Now that's also 2/3. Shoot, that's also GOCC and IUIC and any other Israelite group calling on other names. If you ain't calling on Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and you're calling yourself an Israelite, you're gonna get that wrath. So it also says that the nations, the other nations. So like in Jeremiah 10 and 25, "Pour out your wrath on the nations that do not acknowledge you, and the families that do not call on your name. For they have devoured Jacob, they have consumed him and finished him off. They have devastated his homeland right? Slavery, 1492. Shoot, there's all kinds of evidence. Corpus delicti, the body of evidence is right there. Shoot. Alright, so now we're gonna go and just get a little bit of information. First, let's look at the images. What it's gonna look like. Okay, so it has no shit. Okay, it's put it on some friends and shit. So this shows how it communicates, right? Let's get this. Which one's good? Which one's good? Let's do something different. Alright, this one's a basic right here. This one's real basic. So basically, it is radio frequency identification. RFID technology works from a tag to a reader to a computer. That's basic understanding. Now, why would it be the mark of the beast? Okay, because just I'm gonna use this simple diagram right here to explain it. The tag or the transponder goes on the merchandise that you're keeping track of, and then there's a reader or an antenna, that represents Esau's society, and the computer and software represents the beast. So this is the dragon and this is the beast, because they're going to tag you and keep you in their system, because you need to keep track of your cattle, and the infrastructure they're talking about is the mark of the beast, the whole system. So now we're going to have to get Revelation 13, alright, and that'd be Revelation 13:1. 13:11, Salakia. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. The horns represent authority. So, and he spake like a dragon. That sounds like my man Trump right there, the homie Trump. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, like Rome, right? Rome had Caesars, and they had rulers, like Apostle Tahar was teaching about the Nerva Antonine dynasty, right? Because of Revelation 20, I'm guilty of it. I read it and then I say Septimius Severus, but Apostle Tahar made it known that 100 years prior to that, there were 5 good emperors. There was actually 7. Nerva, Trajan, Hadrian, which made up the Nerva-Trajan dynasty, Antoninus Pius, Lucius Verus, Marcus Aurelius, and those 2, Lucius Verus and Marcus Aurelius, were the first dual emperors, and then Commodus was the son of Marcus Aurelius, who was the ruler after Marcus Aurelius. So that's the power of Rome, because through the power of adoption, those were the good emperors. And like this dude Trump, he was basically adopted because both his parents were not. I'm not saying he was adopted, but he had legit parents. He had upbringing, but they were from dad was from German and was German, and the mom was I believe it was Irish lady. Well, but they were from out of the country, and then this country adopted him and made him the commander. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. Those are the missiles. The missiles. So I'm gonna get right to the point. Alright, so we read the 4. Well, let's get back. So there we can have a good understanding. Alright. On verse 2, Revelation 16:2, it says, So the first angel went and poured out his bowl on the earth, and loathsome malignant sores broke out on those who had the mark of the beast and worshipped its image. And that is the image of Rome, right? And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. That's Revelation 13 and 15. So there's going to be killing if you resist. You know, Lord, when I resist, and if I gotta be killed, I'm gonna be killed, right? I'm gonna try not to. My heart is not to take that chip, because I want the kingdom. And he caused it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in the forehead, and that's that transponder. That's the tag transponder. So they can keep track of your ass with the reader antenna and use computer and software infrastructure to know where you're at, to give you medicine, shut you down if you have to. Now, you're saying to yourself, this guy's not thinking clear. He's crazy. He's obviously crazy. Well, let's look at companies that. This is 4 companies using RFID for supply and change management. So, let me ask you a question. Is the United States a company? Is the United States a company? Do they have a need to track and tag their merchandise? And what is their merchandise? If your birth certificate is a warehouse receipt, your social security is a tracking number, and your driver's license is permission from you're asking permission from the government to conduct business on the road. Why would you need all those 3 documents when you can just tag that motherfucking cattle and have all 3 of those information plus more on it, right? So these are the companies that use it. Amazon, and this was in 2015. BJC Healthcare. Ooh, let's read a little bit about this. Even if RFID is only used at one step of the supply chain, it can still have a significant effect on each aspect of it. By using RFID inventory management techniques like smart cabinets, hospitals like BJC can have full visibility into their inventory and know exactly how many to order and when. So that sounds like it's a smart cabinet. They just track everything in the cabinet, hit the button, and it tells them, right? Wouldn't that be easy if yourself could just hit a button and know where everybody's at? Of course it would, and of course it is, and it will happen. Into text, I don't even know what that is. And what do they do? I guess they ship stuff. Well, General Steel does. Man, those are big companies. And then they had the 3M using it. So look out for this stuff, man. Look out for this stuff. Then I heard a loud voice from the temple saying to the 7 angels, Go pour out on the earth the 7 bowls of God's wrath. So the first angel went and poured out his bowl on the earth, and loathsome malignant sores broke out on those who had the mark of the beast and worshipped its image. Shalom.